Hi, this is Beth von Staats, owner of QueenAnneBoleyn.com and author of Thomas Cranmer in a Nutshell. I'm here to talk to you today about why Americans love Queen Anne Boleyn and why she's our anointed queen of Anglophilia. May 19th, the date that marks the anniversary of Queen Anne Boleyn's tragic execution, is a national holiday. From Miami to California, from Boston to Anchorage, from Puerto Rico to Guam, Tudophiles and Anglophiles all over the United States, and there are literally millions of us, stop everything we do and pay humble and prayerful homage. When you think about American history, our love of Queen Anne Boleyn and all things British doesn't seem all that logical. After all, long before we had the Tea Party movement, we rioted against our British oppressors. Yes, we now look to those rascals in Boston as revolutionaries, but back in 1773, Sam Adams and the Sons of Liberty were a bunch of hooligans, tossing an entire state supply of Indian gold into the harbor. From there, all hell broke loose. 2 wars with the British in less than 40 years. So why do we love all things British? And of all things British, why is Anne Boleyn, who reigned a mere 1,000 days, and a queen consort at that, our beloved anointed queen of Anglophilia? Well, first of all, Americans adore love triangles. The juicier, the better. Before the Lady Anne Boleyn became King Henry VIII's wife and queen consort, she was the other woman. True or no, Queen Catalina de Aragon pegged her the scandal of Christendom. Although most historians suggest Anne Boleyn was initially pursued by the king to become like her sister Mary, a mere friend with benefits, there is no denying this simple fact. The woman had panache. Let's face it, Henry had a major problem. Married nearly 18 years by 1527, there was no male heir to the throne. So now what? Annul the marriage to the Spanish queen, of course. That was a given, Anne Boleyn or not. What happened next, however, is a true American love story, an epic Anglophilia. Anne Boleyn, like Beyonce, set one simple rule: if you like it, you should have put a ring on it. Then she played hard to get. Through intelligence, charm, and charisma, Anne Boleyn, in an age before reliable birth control, held her man. The Queen of England sitting in the opposing corner stitching the king's shirts. For 7 long years. Although we Anglophiles will never admit it, we do love gossip. Who is sleeping with who is important business to us, especially the rich and famous. As much as we love to hate the usurpers, being Elizabeth Taylor, Angelina Jolie, or Anne Boleyn is a secret fantasy. After all, they had chutzpah. Who wouldn't want to be the consort and randy romance partner of Eddie Fisher, Brad Pitt, or better yet, the King of England? Secondly, Americans, especially Tudophiles and Anglophiles, love royalty, especially young princesses and queens. King George III may have gone mad in his final years, but he was a visionary in truth. When the king conceded American independence before Parliament in 1782, he observed quite astutely, "I pray the United States will not suffer unduly from its want of a monarchy." Oh heavens, do we? Since we live in a republic, Anglophiles need to create our own royal family. We do this in several ingenious ways. If our presidential family is attractive enough, we borrow them, along with British mythology to plant into their life stories. Thus, not only did Caroline Kennedy ride her pony Macaroni, but she also lived in Camelot. Her father, King Arthur, her mother, Guinevere. Not all of our presidential families meet the attractive royal criteria, however. This note poses no problem for us Anglophiles. Like Anne Boleyn before them, we will send our most charismatic, charming, intelligent, and engaging women to marry into royal families. So far, this has been a remarkably successful endeavor. Not only did Grace Kelly catch a prince and Lisa Najib Halaby catch a king, but Wallis Simpson pulled off the golden ring at the carousel. The King of England renounced his throne for her. How deliciously naughty and Anglophilian is that? When all else fails, we Anglophiles simply borrow all things British. In America, the tragic Diana, Princess of Wales, is a sainted Madonna, and with no 16th century history of our own, so is Queen Anne Boleyn. It's really that simple. Third, though freedom of religion is a hallmark of American values, the United States is still primarily a Protestant nation, and we're downright evangelical too. For Americans, including Anglophiles, religion is still serious business. After all, the United States is one nation under God. As every Tudophile knows, Queen Anne Boleyn was a devout reformist evangelical. In fact, she is credited for introducing King Henry VIII to the notion that he needed no pope to rule over his clergy. How did Anne Boleyn pull this off? She handed him the banned heretical notions of the priest in exile, William Tyndale. Poof, Henry had an epiphany. With the help of Thomas Cranmer, his Boleyn cherry-picked Archbishop of Canterbury, and Thomas Cromwell, his ambitious and politically driven Privy Councillor from Putney, the King of England not only was defender of the faith, but emperor, his crown imperial. Queen Anne Boleyn was in, and the Pope was out. Done deal. Interesting enough, like any good Anglophile, I recently ventured to New York with friends to enjoy Wolf Hall, Plays 1 and 2. While there, we were delighted to meet and speak with Lydia Leonard, who portrayed Anne Boleyn and became Queen of Broadway. Lydia shared that she was not surprised by the intelligence of her American audiences, but instead how astutely Americans caught religious humor as opposed to their British counterparts. Shakespearean actor Giles Taylor, Thomas Cranmer in the plays, echoed these same sentiments in a recent QAB interview. He observed, "I knew the books were popular in the States, and that the Americans seemed to have an insatiable appetite for English history and period drama generally. The pleasant surprise has been our American audience's religious knowledge. We are so secular now in the United Kingdom that the religious references and jokes went for very little, but in New York City they go down like a storm." Read, mark, learn, and inwardly digest. His Grace has spoken. Fourth, Americans are obsessed with the internet, and the internet is obsessed with Queen Anne Boleyn. The hallmark historical resource for American Anglophilia is the World Wide Web. Yes, we Anglophiles are obsessed with Queen Anne Boleyn, but not as much as we are obsessed with our smartphones, iPhones, tablets, and laptops. Match Anne Boleyn with an iPad and a glass of wine, and any Anglophile is in nirvana. To illustrate this point, Google Anne Boleyn and see what happens. Boom, she reigns for pages and pages and pages in every language worldwide. Let's just say this. The domain name for my website, queenanneboleyn.com, is not for sale for any price. It's that precious. Do you enjoy tweeting on your smartphone? Join the over 11,000 court followers, mostly American Anglophiles, of Queen Anne Boleyn. Do you prefer Facebook on your tablet? Take a peek at the Facebook page for the Anne Boleyn files. As of this writing, over 168,000 people liked the page, and justifiably so. It not only highlights the blog posts of the Anne Boleyn Files website and the Tudor Society, both founded by Claire Ridgway, it shares content from a variety of outside sources as well. Do you want to know what happened on any given day in Tudor history? Claire will tell you. How deliciously Anglophilian. Finally, Americans love drama, especially tragic love stories or thrillers that end with good overcoming evil. Although my video today is intentionally light-spirited, today is a day in remembrance of a tragedy of historic proportions. Anglophiles all over the United States will take pause, nearly 500 years later, still in disbelief that an anointed queen could be literally cut down, her little neck split straight through, her head rolling onto the scaffold. Punctuating the tragedy, 5 men fell along with her. With a horror such as this, why do Americans keep flocking to Anne Boleyn? Quite simply, we Anglophiles like bittersweet tragedies, especially if a gross miscarriage of justice has a vindicating twist. Yes, Anne's nemesis Thomas Cromwell rose to the ultimate heights of power, but he too would fall to the axe in 1540. Yes, King Henry VIII finally was gifted with a male heir, but the child's reign was short, his death premature. And yes, Anne Boleyn's beloved daughter grew to womanhood without a mother, but in the end, she reigned Queen of England. The ascension of Elizabeth Regina, combined with her magnificent reign, is the happy ending American Anglophiles are always seeking. God save the Queen, long did she reign.